All right. Does anyone want to
We want.
does anyone want to do go kind of lead the discussion?
I can. I can lead it.
All right.
I think you did it last time or past 2 times. So let me do that.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. First question. We have to vote. Should Doug accept turn offer? Yes or no?
For me, no.
Miguel.
For me, I would say I think if I was in his shoes, I would do it. Yes.
Oh, okay. So I heard a no, but who said no? Miguel.
Yes, me.
Oh, okay. I said yes.
Really?
It's
Again? What's
it
going
seems
on with
like.
me?
Okay, it's just a yes or no, so let's just keep going, right?
Yeah.
We'll get our point of view. Okay, so start your discussion with those who say Doug should accept the turn offer. For that option, come up with the reasons why he should take the offer, even if nobody thinks it's a good idea. Okay, so Nate and I said yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's me, right?
What do you think, Nate?
So if I was in his shoes, I think uh, the thing that the thing about having an offer like on the table that's a real offer for me that is that's something that's right there. It has present value, and even though they're going to have to like pay off the angel investors, they get to kind of dip uh, out of that cash offer first. I still think that what Doug ends up with is pretty attractive, and then he also has a piece of the turn. He's going to have some equity in turn after that. So some of those valuations of similar companies, those are like crazy numbers that those companies are worth. But even going forward, he's going to be able to get some cash and put it in the bank. That's real money. And then he's going to have some equity going forward. So maybe if, and what we don't know is, those are whatever $2 million worth of shares from Stern. But what we don't know is, how what that represents. Is that just 1% of the company, or is it 10% of that company? We don't know that, but the tangible, real, that's an offer on the table without like, it's not like blue sky that's down the road. I think that would be too compelling for me to
Yeah,
pass up.
I agree. Now, I didn't have much time, or actually didn't really do much of the calculations to see kind of what it would be looking like once they got funded by a VC firm and stuff like that. But just the idea of him giving away 50% of his stock to what's his name, Shields,
Yeah,
um, and then it kind of showed there that he was going to have half, then Shields was going to have the other half. They did that movement. The workers or the employees were going to have a certain percentage too. So from going from 100%, he would be under 50% ownership right there.
yeah,
On the other side too, the case study kept mentioning that like I'm not a real leader. Actually, the way it started, he didn't even really had kind of like the entrepreneurial spirit or thing, right? He had his friend Washing help him out
yeah,
and say, "Hey, you have a good idea here. Let's build a business." He didn't really want to deal with all that. He didn't really like going out there looking for investors. He thought that was frustrating. He kind of just wanted to take care of his family, right? If he had this good idea, he made it work, and he's good. So, like you said, Nate, 2 million right now, cash, is probably better than 2 million in 3 years. They have another thing to take into consideration is this is not even a business that has started making any profits. It haven't even started making any income. Finish the coding, so a lot of things could happen between then and a couple of years. He could Someone else maybe comes out with something before them, and so the company doesn't work. I don't know. So 2 million now, I think would be a lot more money than 2 million in a couple other years, and who knows how much he was going to be able to get out of the company once before his ownership was diluted. So because of that, I would go with taking the offer right now, 2 million. Let's see. I guess that was us, yes, and then we have to allow Miguel to say why not.
Okay, that's my part. So I think that Kuzman has an opportunity. First of all, because Shield, which was like the former, his former boss when he was working in his first company, was pretty excited about this idea, and he started to make different advices and try to make him to take this decision in order to invest in the Series A, in order to raise more resources to invest for the company. I think that with the Shield's experience that he has, let me see, where are you? Yes, which was partner of the Sequel Venture Investors, and also was the uh, uh, the CEO of MatchLogic, which was also a good company. I think that he has a lot of experience, and he also get to know very well the market, the customers, and the needs. So maybe for me, maybe Cosman will not like has all this experience. She will add this all these important resources for this company, for this idea, and he will really make a difference. And maybe at the end, this company, MatchLogic, could take advantage of his idea, and maybe they could make some kind of partnership or something like that. So I think that at the end, it will be a good option that Shield could take the CEO position and start trying to raise the revenues. And if something is going to fail or something like that, I think that she will take advantage of this idea and still make it valuable in much logic. So I think that it's like uh, going beyond or try to get another opportunity in order to raise this money and make the company to work more.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like similar companies were being sold later from like 250 to 350 million.
Yeah.
It's way, way, way more than he was getting out of 2 million, right?
Yeah,
Um,
even if you own like 1% of one of those, that's beating that $2 million offer. But
mhm.
but man, it's like there's things that have to happen before you're to that point, right? So there's some risk. There's
Yeah,
no
like you don't know pretty that you actually will get to that point. Like I said, company was still being worked on. Like there were still people, engineers, that they didn't have any clients. They haven't even raised any capital, any other funding. Like it was a really early stage. And comparing that to other similar companies, I think I mean, you can, but you never know what was going to happen. So that's just why I would say money right now is better than, get it, but you might not. That's my point of view. Okay, support your arguments with evidence and analysis. How much money will Doug receive? And then it says, as a group realize that is it likely that nobody has a full correct answer to this question? Here are some hints. Well, if we went with yes, is there a specific answer? Like what, 2 million and then 2 million in stock? We don't know really what the stock is worth right now, but
So in the terms of the Angels funding, it said that if there was a cash sale, that they would get 2x times their investment right off the bat. So basically, when the Angels invested 300, yeah, so the Angels invested 300K, so 2x of that, they would get 600,000 of that 2 million, period. So that would leave Doug with 1.4 million. And then in addition to that, like if there was equity that was being exchanged, like stock, that Angels would get 25% of that. So Doug would have to give up 600K of that 2 million, and then he would also have to give up 25% of those 2 million shares. So that would be 500,000 of those shares. So his takeaway would be 1.4 million and then 1.5 million shares. Those are the numbers I got.
Okay. Is there a way to calculate, like, I don't know if you calculate anything, Miguel, with option of not accepting it and going forward? Is there any like numbers there that kind of support how much you would take if
Well,
the company kept running and got funding and stuff?
yeah, calculating the pre-money valuation, I got that with 50 cents per share, he will raise the total series investment of 3.5 million. Then if with $1, he will raise up to 6 million. And with 1.5, he will rise up to 13 million. That's what I got.
Okay. More than the 1.4.
Sure is.
Let's
Maybe
see.
because of the difference of the pre-money valuation. Because at the beginning we found, well, within the exhibit 4, I think.
Hints, it says, I guess you mentioned it, Nate. Half of the buyout offer is in cash, so we need to treat it as cash sell, give the investors 2 times their investment, so that's 600. I think that's pretty easy. And then since half of the buyout offer is preferred stock, I think we saw that too, 25%. And then Doug's payout is whatever is left. I mean, in the case analysis of what we turned in, that was one of my questions. It would be interesting to know what the worth of the stock for return was at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's not
just to get at.
Yeah.
Because it could be a lot more than what he was getting in cash.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Probably was, because what he was getting, he was going to be left with what, 1.5 million stock?
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's probably more than $1.
Yeah, right.
That's a good amount of money.
Yeah, plus, like, all the value that we're talking about that Yieldex that they have, that's now folded into Turn. So there's no reason why Turn couldn't be comparable to some of those other companies that are going for 275 million and up. So
the other thing that I was thinking is, so they're buying out this company, and I guess the main guy was Doug. I mean, it didn't really mention it, but Doug was a guy with the idea, and he was the one involved with it. And he liked the idea of kind of running the project, not really running people. He wasn't much of a people person, it seemed like. He didn't want to be a CEO, but he could be, I don't know, I didn't mention it, but I'm sure he would still be involved with that project, even after the buyout, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In a place where he's a little bit more comfortable, not having to direct and get funding and do all the entrepreneurial, I guess, CEO kind of responsibilities, but something a little more, I guess, and more into his engineering side of things.
And and he had worked with the colleague that he had worked with that guy at Turn and liked him, and they kind of had this synergistic relationship together. So that seemed like a pretty good fit.
Yeah, it seems like he got along with him in the past, which is another factor that I think he was going to take it, right? He kind of trusted that guy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Discuss as a group, how much does Shields deserve? Want Doug to reject the Turn offer? Won't Washington get a pretty good return on his investment? One more. How much does Washington give up if Doug gives Shields 50% of the equity? Because that's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
How much does Shields deserve? Shields is a new CEO, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought 50% was a lot.
Me too. It seemed pretty demanding.
It seemed pretty demanding, yeah.
It's like,
The case mentioned that someone had told Doug that 10% or something like that was
yeah,
like a fair share, but somehow they came down to like, hey, 50, because he's risking this and leaving his funding firm and stuff like that, he should be getting 50%, right?
yeah, I think that guy was pretty expensive. Like they were leveraging the fact that Tom, or excuse me, Doug, the founder, like he wasn't really like interested in the CEO position. So they were almost
Mm-hmm.
leveraging that against him, like, hey, we can take advantage because he really needs a CEO. But having said that, the Shields guy, he brings a lot to that position because he understood the
Mhm.
solution. He had that background. He was a good fit to be a CEO there.
The networking also to, I don't know, target more customers or different sectors in the industry that could result more attractive and could generate more revenues for the company. I think that this could also worth a lot of money because he was hiring uh, one person that has not just business, has several business in the industry and also has his own projects or something like that. So I think that maybe that was the cost of someone like this. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, have you guys ever seen that show Shark Tank where people go on TV and they
Yeah, there
It's a
is a
good
new
show.
one in Mexico.
yeah, see the sometimes it's better to
Uh,
give up sometimes it's better to give up more equity and be with the right partner, right? Because
Exactly.
it's
yeah,
better to own a smaller percentage of something that's bigger rather than to own a larger percentage of
own a
something.
lot of something that's small.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah,
know. The Shields guy was a pretty good fit, but man, 50%.
yeah, it was a lot. So I guess it's kind of easy question. Why does Washington want Duck to reject the Turn offer? Won't Washington get a pretty return on his investment? He's getting double. Why hold out for more?
Yeah, those guys
So
want.
he want
Go
yeah,
ahead.
those ones they want to go for
Yeah,
the
exactly.
big price at the end, and it makes sense. They're investors. That's what they do.
Mhm.
They know when they invest money is for the long run, and they'll get paid at the end, right? It doesn't take a couple of months. It doesn't take a year. It takes. I don't know if some of the other cases mentioned 10 years. Is that usually the norm for some of these investments?
Yeah,
Yeah, they had already planned 10 years perhaps, and so a year or 2 years later, getting just double what they invested, I guess didn't look as good as what they could get 10 years from there if they sold for 350 million like some other of those companies. So that's the main reason he wanted Duck to take it. That's what I think.
hmm
Even though his return was going to be double, 300,000 more, or if he put 300, he was going to get 300 more, which is still pretty good
yeah.
to us at least.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys have he says, why hold out for, well, hold out for more. We already know that. That works. How much does Washington give up if Doug gives Shields 50% of the equity?
Oh
How much
man,
did
that's
they
a
own?
good one. I don't know. See, I'm interested to hear what you guys should say because I don't understand how washing how his equity share is affected by Doug giving Shields 50%. How does that how is
Yeah.
that related? I don't understand.
I mean, he got 300,000. Mention how many shares he had, or
It was a convertible debt, so
yeah,
the thing
so
that
there was no valuation on the company yet, was there?
no, it wasn't until the Series A round that they were able to like get shares at that point. They could convert that debt. So I don't understand
Hmm.
how. That's just a question I have.
How you calculate that?
Yeah,
What do you
it
think,
seems
Miguel? I don't get it either because I don't know if it mentioned anything about that number.
maybe that's what the question is that it doesn't affect it because either Doug has 100% or him and Shields share that same 100%. It doesn't. I don't see how that affects Washington's ability to buy in, but
True. Miguel, do you have any thoughts?
I don't know if he's referring to the next case, the Part B, because I think that I read that he came, well, that when they divide uh, this percentage, I remember that Cosman remained with the 60%. I don't know if it's related with that part.
I guess we're going to see that right now in question 9.
Yeah, but it's not
8 talks
definitely showing me.
about use the turn offer to his advantage if he rejects it. I think yes. I
yeah,
mean, if he rejects it and then people know that people are offering 2 million or however much he was going to get, are interested, and it just kind of creates this idea of like it must be good, right?
yeah. Yeah, there was talk of
And
like
he's
there was talk of trying
go
to
for it.
get him some cash out of the Series A. Like they had mentioned, maybe we could get some Doug some cash in that round. But yeah,
True.
I think he should use it. Why not? Because it's an offer. It's like that's a viable offer. Yeah.
Yeah, he can leverage that there. Okay, so click here to read the B case. Let's see what the B case says. Have you guys read it? And then as a group vote, should Tom hire Barr? Yes or no? Allow those who said yes to go first and ask for opposing viewpoints. Anyone wants to read that, or should we read it individually? Or has anyone read it already and wants to summarize?
I haven't read it yet.
I need to get my charger. Just a sec.
Wow.
Trouble's brewing in the office.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get all the details really quick, but yes, I guess he went with right,
Yeah.
and then got 60% instead of 50. He divided that. Then he sold 20% to get some cash out. I didn't get
Mhm.
that. Someone thought that someone wasn't doing the right job, the CEO, or Cosman wasn't doing, and so they were hiring someone else to. Who are they replacing there? I didn't get that right away.
I think they're adding someone to the team. They're just adding the vice president of engineering, right?
Okay, is that because Cosman wasn't doing well or something, or
I think he just needed to. They just needed that in the office because Cosman wasn't a people person, wasn't really a leader.
okay?
Mhm.
Uh, Track record of managing high productivity startup teams to achieve aggressive development milestones. Okay, so the questions. Let's see.
About bar.
Yeah, should Tom hire Barr? Uh,
Wow.
I don't know.
It's weird because Cosman was saying that he was not familiar, how does it work? On familiarity with several of the key components of the Yieldex solution. So I don't know if for Cosman was like this was like a problem, this lack of understanding, but for Hill, he seemed like the best option for all his background and his credentials in different startups.
I mean, he seems like a good guy to get him right there. The only negative that I see is just the tension that it is creating, right? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I was a CEO, hire him
yeah, I
because your
agree.
job is to get your job is to get the company moving, right? You already got invested. You know, you have to make it grow. You have people pushing on other sides, the investors, that you have to make decisions, hire the right people to get the company moving, and if that's what you have to do, you just have to do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree because the John Barr, his skill set was pretty impressive. He had experience working in startups, and although he didn't understand the Yieldex solution, it's probably easier to get him up to speed on what that is than to find someone who understands the solution and try to turn them into a vice president of engineering. The guy has the experience, but he just needs to be up to speed on Yieldex. I say hire him.
Yeah. What about you, Miguel? Yes or no?
Uh, well, I think that I will trust more in Cosman as he created the solution and maybe now hiring. Just considering that he built the code and maybe he knows why or well he has the reasons for not doing.
Okay.
You, what do you think?
Um, I mean, I think Cosman's still going to be involved, right, in the building and the engineering. I think maybe this bar guy is more to be able to get the teams rolling, get the goals, get the team moving, which were some of the things that Cosman was lacking. I think it's pushing one out, getting someone that's going to make them grow in the way that to achieve certain milestones, to reach their goals, market better, not necessarily coding. I don't think Bar is going to be there directing engineers on specific code methods and how to build because that's what Cosman knows. That's his strength. But yes,
Yeah,
leading the team to reach
that's
specific
what
goals and milestones,
that's what
I think.
he created and he built it. So maybe just Bart wasn't uh, or didn't agree with the structure or wanted to change something important. So I don't know. I think that I will trust in Cosman as he built it.
Okay. See,
Uh,
where are we? Okay. Then as for opposing viewpoints, consider how this decision will affect the following.
company.
Okay, that's different. Company culture, leadership, team, investor relationships.
Yeah, these are
Go
some
ahead.
reasons that we just discussed, right? So
Yeah,
it seems like investors like kind of like the bar guy. The only one that's having a problem with him is potentially going to be Doug.
yeah, and so that creates some tension there between the leadership, the culture. I mean, the culture can be affected if the leadership is not having the same ideas or aren't really going in the same direction. Okay, so there's a C case. So you read that. Let's see.
The PowerPoint, right?
Just downloaded it. Right things for the company mean. Should Tom hire Doug? Does Yieldex need Cosman anymore? What value does Doug? Nice. Yeah, it's a PowerPoint. Let's see if it opens it. I actually don't have PowerPoint on this computer. Doesn't let me open it. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, I'll share my screen here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Thanks. Oh yeah.
This is it. That's it. Can you see it?
So he remains, right? What? Shields hired him.
Hired?
Wow. Man. So he's That's pretty bold. It's not like he's not kind of suggesting it there. He's kind of demanding that.
But
What is he demanding? I'm trying to open it.
It's just a memo. It says from John Barr to Tom Shields, the CEO. And he says, Tom, Doug continues to be disruptive. His salary is $170K. He holds the title CTO, which I should have. His team wasn't functional and has been replaced at the board meeting today. Do the right thing for the company. So he's basically telling him to
Get rid of him?
yeah, excuse him.
wow.
And,
So let's go back and tell Cosman to take the $2 million, right?
yeah, right. So man, so I guess Cosman has 40% of the shares. There's nothing he can do if the board votes him out. He's gone.
What does he get if they kick him out? Shares are still his?
Yeah,
I guess he can sell them to them, right?
yeah.
I wonder what those are worth. So the question here is, what does the right things for the company mean? Should Tom fire Doug? I don't think that's right. Just the founder.
Yeah.
Does Yieldex need Cosman anymore?
That's good.
That's a tougher one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What values does Doug bring to the company now that they have his algorithm? Oh, so they have everything they need. They don't really need him anymore. Is that what it's?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Wow.
I mean, I guess they don't. I guess they should just be I guess and be like, hey, we'll buy off your 40%. Give him a good amount, make him happy, and then them and do whatever they want now. How could Doug have avoided getting into this situation? Listening to us and then taking the $2 million. Listening to his wife, right? His wife wanted to take. It mentioned something about his wife wanting the $2 million.
Yeah, but also if he's on the board and he has 40% of the shares, if he maintains the majority, because he had 60%, I mean, he got some cash out and gave some of that up. So I mean, that's part of his fault
he
too.
sold 20% of that 60%, right?
Yep.
So he has 50%.
No, he has
only has 40%.
He gave up 20% of his 60% for $2 million.
40.
He should have just given up 9% and still keep 51% majority.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that would have made a big difference.
Yeah, that's true.
He would be firing people instead.
Right.
He just have one member, any other member.
I mean, I guess that's the thing. It's business. And he had a couple of people he knew at the beginning, but then new people started coming in. A lot of percentage of stock. So he lost. You really have a say. And getting back to him.
Yep.
The question is, the last one, do you know about the buyout? No. Is that for the ones that said yes or the ones that said no? Or what is it talking about?
Now that I think about it, now that we've discussed this, so the way it unfolded, he had 60%, but he gave up and he went down to 40%. He made out better because he has 2 million in the bank. But I
For
guess,
example, if,
go ahead.
sorry, if he wanted to sell his 40% of shares, he will use the valuation of 8 million that it's in the exhibit 1 of Yieldex B.
Yeah.
He will be using that number.
Well, we
There's a valuation there for 8 million.
yeah,
If he wanted to sell it.
So he has 40% of 8 million, you could say, or what are you saying?
Exactly.
I guess he could, right?
yeah.
So he would still have more than 2 million. Well, he was going to get 1.4.
And so he's ahead. He's ahead in the game if he went through with that.
The thing there is we don't know what the worth of turned stock is,
Right.
That's true. That's true.
because he has 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming a tech company, I don't think they're under $5. They're must be pretty good.
Yeah.
If we take into consideration that if they're $1 a piece, he's already ahead, or pretty close if it's just $1. Because what, 40% of 8, around close to 3.
Yeah.
So it will be almost the same, right? Maybe just a little bit more, but not a big difference.
These are these real companies?
I don't think
These
so.
are like, no.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of you.
Let me see. Stock turn rate. What did turn do? Do you guys know?
No.
Yeah, I think they're fake companies, but I mean, I don't know what's a tech company that would be kind of similar to that. Could we think of any? The page mentioned some, didn't it? Some
Yeah.
of those buyouts. Maybe some of those are real. The case study.
Maybe I'll look for film too.
Uh, let's see. I don't think they're real. Yeah, they're not real. But yeah, anyways, I think he would still have should have taken the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it would be maybe just at least 4 million, so maybe it will just double the amount. But I think that that was a lot of not problems, but it was a huge challenge that maybe he was he could avoid or he could um,
He could have, yeah, he could have avoided that. I guess the relationships there might have is good once he got out because of what happened. So that could be a bit negative too, you know.
yeah, it will be just like a good option for his family because I remember it's a part that says that the money will help to with some expenses in the family or something like that. So I think that maybe it was a good opportunity, and that could help him to get more resources and keep working in other projects. I don't know, and maybe try to get more experience and later start writing his own business because this one was pretty challenging.
Well, I don't even know if he wanted his own business. That's the thing. That's the thing from the beginning that I got.
That's true.
He wanted his own business. He just had this idea, but now he could sell the idea and you change your mind or?
And I still think if from the beginning, if he had that offer on, I still would take it back to the beginning. I think.
Yeah.
What about you? Are you the same? You're the same too?
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing is when this company becomes part of Turn, owns part of it because he has those 1.5 million shares.
Yeah.
If Turn makes Yieldex grow, then his stock value is also going to go up automatically.
Yeah, he'll get the upside from that. But all the angels, everyone's left behind though. They get paid off and they're done. That's why they didn't like that deal.
Yeah, that's where
That's the end.
that's where. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I think that's it, guys.
All right.
Oh, wow, great.
Okay, I'll post this in just a few minutes, and then we'll be talking to you on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. See
Sounds
you guys.
good, guys. Feel better, Miguel.
Thanks so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Take care.